can say where the road goes, where the day flows, only time. And who can say if your love grows?
Doctors said the stuntman would never walk again, but after a strange and shocking healing technique, he's a walking miracle.
John worked as a successful movie stuntman. He saw his career flash before his eyes when he sustained massive injuries in a non-stunt related accident.
Breaking the tibia, the fibula, and the femur, bone on bone, and was told without a knee replacement I would never walk without the use of a cane.
The electroacuoscope and myopulse first came into the limelight when Terry Bradshaw used it in 1983 to rehabilitate his damaged throwing arm.
And so now I started the Acuscope. I've had 4 treatments as of this date, and I threw today with no pain, 0.
A year from the date of the injury, I ran my first triathlon on a leg they said would never bend.
Sports figures have been using this machine for quite some time. Many give glowing endorsements. Terry Bradshaw swears it helped him, so does Joe Montana and golfing great Jack Nicklaus. He was treated for the tendinitis in his wrist and elbow.
My game of golf is to be able to put my body back in the position it should be, or in a normal situation to where it gives itself a chance to heal on its own. And that's really what I found is the great usage of these machines.
Is treating professional surfer Sonny Garcia for a sports injury.
I think I tore some ligaments in my knee. During the Billabong contest, I just did something that usually you wouldn't do. With this treatment, I've been fine.
First of all, I've been practicing medicine for almost 40 years. My son had a devastating illness. It was an illness that started over 5 years ago.
My father, being a well-known doctor, set me up at many clinics, including the Mayo Clinic, including Hippocrates. I spent hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars trying to figure out what was wrong with me to get me back on track. Yet I kept deteriorating to the point where I was hospitalized at 83 pounds, and the doctors gave me a 1% chance of living. I like to say I was one breath from death.
We really didn't know what was going on in him. We tried all sorts of treatments, all sorts of modalities. I literally had to put a catheter in his heart. I had to help a thoracic surgeon do that in Dallas.
After the hospitalization stay, that I met John Thorp and used the instruments for the first time.
I actually thought I was going to lose him. I mean, I was terrified. When you think you're going to lose a child, you got to throw out the books. You have to learn everything you can. Over the last 5 years, I learned about energy medicine.
At that time, when I first met John, I was experiencing a lot of ear pain and tinnitus. I had ear ringing. My first treatment was just a 20-minute ear clip treatment, and immediately my results were incredible. I could hear better. I didn't have the pain. I was so ecstatic and extremely happy. My right rotator cuff was very weak, and sometimes it was even hard to even eat food. After my first treatment, I felt like I had 50% of my shoulder back. Completely amazed.
Over the years, I've realized that one of the best ways of getting the body back into optimum health is using electrical energy.
They have been helping me in many ways that I could never have imagined, and I'm very thankful to John Thorp.
Hi, you know me. I'm Mark Victor Hansen, co-creator of the Chicken Soup for the Soul and the 1 Minute Millionaire series. But today I want to talk to you about one of my close, dear friends who I've thought the world of for over a decade. His name is John Thorp. He can do all the stuff that they said he'd never do again. That's number one. Number two is that he's healed tons of people. Number three is, for me personally, I had my hips, and they said, hey, look, 10 years ago, you got to replace them with porcelain. On John, and what he did is he regenerated my hips instantaneously.
My name is Ted Lilly, and I'm a pitcher with the Los Angeles Dodgers. I had surgery in November of 2009 and needed to get back on the field. Didn't have the time, the normal recovery rate of 6 months or whatever it would be, so I ended up giving John a call, and he came up to the house and treated me for 3 days. And I didn't really think that it would happen quite this quickly, but I was throwing a baseball within 3 weeks after having my shoulder scoped and throwing without pain.
Hi, I'm Jack Canfield. You may know me as the co-author of the Chicken Soup for the Soul series of books. And this is my friend John Thorp, who's been my buddy for over 10 years and also has done a lot of healing work on my body. He was having tremendous low back pain at the time, and amazingly relieved that pain in one session, working on my lower back and my neck. And it was phenomenal, and I was shocked by how quickly it worked and by how profound it was. And I've been a great supporter of John and his work ever since. Later, I broke my knee skiing and accelerated the healing on that. Doctors told me I'd be limping around forever, and I don't limp at all anymore. And that was phenomenal. That was a huge, huge thing. I just feel blessed to know that he and this technology exists. And what I always try to do in my life is bring the best of everything I learned to everyone else I can. So this is part of me doing that for you today.
My name is Dr. Sherry Tenpenny. My background is in emergency medicine. I was a board-certified emergency medicine physician for 12 years. I was at a facility where my husband had a tooth pull. And when the anesthesia wore off, he describes it as feeling like he got a mule kick to the side of the head. He was in extreme pain, and John Thorp happened to be there with his Accuscope, and he treated one treatment with the Accuscope on this extracted tooth. He's had no problems with it ever since. So that made me a believer by seeing the absolute immediate results that my husband got from just simply one treatment with the Accuscope.
This guy called John Thorp, his focus to me was he relieved my beautiful wife's pain. It not only relieved the pain, but it dissolved the scar tissue, something no other therapy could do.
Told me about a man named John Thorp and this wonderful treatment, and I said, okay, I'll give him a call. My first x-ray showed an actual opening between the bone. As what was to have been in a cast for 6 weeks and then recovery and all that, I was healed in 3 weeks.
Sitting in a box with the top was a little too low for my neck, just for a long time. And it's over, so thanks to this wonderful.
And Gary, you're going into cancer, malignant congenital, and you're so up. And I said, yeah, I'm going to be all right. Thank you, electroaccuscope, John Thorp.
Got a story about what some call a miracle machine. It's been used to treat injured pro athletes for more than a decade with some success. It has just received federal government approval. And tonight in 9 News Extra, Healthline's Sandra Sagasi reports on the miracle machine.
It's being hailed as the miracle machine. Just a few short months ago, Jeremy Snyder was paralyzed on the right side from an inoperable brain tumor. He was considered terminal and had lapsed into a coma. His parents took Jeremy to Mexico for treatment. The Accuscope was part of that treatment.
They started using the Accuscope and biofeedback on Jeremy, and that brought him out of the coma that he was in. And then after he started to walk and everything, they started using the Accuscope and the MyoPulse on him, and it helped him to get strength in his arms and his legs.
David Jones. I'm a physician. I have an active practice in Ashland, Oregon, and I also am very active in the field of functional medicine with the Institute of Functional Medicine. I've had the pleasure here at Sonovive, which is an internationally famous center of healing, having a sports injury treated by John Thorp. The injury was a fairly serious injury. At the time, I thought I had fractured my hip. In injuries of this sort in the past that I've had, I've been dysfunctional for 6 to 8 months, and I was treated within the first 3 weeks and only lost a week after that of playing active tennis. It's been a marvelous experience seeing what treatment of this sort can do.
For the past several years, Sonovive has implemented Thorp's protocols as a primary step toward wellness for its patients.
Best experience that I have is to expose tumors. We're talking about small tumors in the breast, cysts, and even malignancies. After the use of the electroaccuscope or the MyoPulse, these tumors start shrinking. The one that I have been seeing with a very good success is the prostate enlargement. After a series of treatments, you can see how the prostate shrinks.
Hi, I'm Dave Austin, a mental performance coach to many great pro athletes and college athletes. I've done a U.S. Olympic team. And I am probably the biggest skeptic. My son, who plays quarterback at the University of Hawaii, had problems with his knee. So we decided to bring him over, work with John, and really helped him with his knees. And we thought, wow, there is something to this. We got pitchers in the Major League Baseball, 2 of them that probably, I don't know if they'd be pitching right now if I hadn't met John. They are just big believers now. And it's because it works. This will increase your healing dramatically. It's absolutely remarkable, and I'm blessed that John was persistent and kept saying, Dave, believe me, trust me. I do now.
I called up old patients, and it actually worked on those patients that had failed with acupuncture. A quadriplegic come in here from Utah. He couldn't feel from his shoulder down. He now has feeling down past his elbow, and he can wiggle his thumbs, which doesn't sound like such a big deal, but if you're a quadriplegic, it's a big deal. We had a multiple sclerosis fella come in with real bad spasms, confined to a wheelchair, couldn't move his right arm, could move his left limitedly, and after one treatment he called and told us that he was able to use the computer and raise his hand above his head, and he was in tears.
I'm Shane Austin. I play quarterback for University of Hawaii, and I got introduced to the Accuscope and MyoPulse a couple years ago by my dad, who knows John Thorp. This past season, I got in a car accident a week before a game, and definitely I don't know if I could have played, without using this machine, because I got just a couple treatments and I was able to play that Saturday. I don't know if I could have been on the field without this equipment. You want to get treated by somebody that's certified under John Thorp, because it really does work.
I've seen John for so many things I kind of forgot. I mean, we're all looking for the machine like the metal detector. You can walk through it and get totally treated, like Star Wars. But it's more hands-on.
All those movies that we saw, years ago, really are coming true today.
Hi, my name is Luke Scott with the Baltimore Orioles. Been using the electric MyoPulse and Accuscope machines, and to try and bring back some regeneration in my shoulder and speed up the healing process. Just in these last 8-9 days, I've experienced some really good results, and I felt, within 5 treatments that my knees got about 5 years younger. I didn't have the stiffness, I didn't have the soreness, I didn't have the inflammation that I was experiencing at the time. I'm really confident that the use of this machine is going to help speed up my recovery. It's very important to use a Thorp certified electro-Accuscope, electro-MyoPulse machine combination, and to also have a Thorp certified technician so they can get maximum results.
I found about this therapy through my dad. He's a doctor, a cardiovascular surgeon, and he's into alternative therapies, and actually had met John at a conference about that kind of thing. John treated my sister for a sprained ankle, and then I had a sprained ankle as well, and I came to John to just get some treatment to try to accelerate the healing process.
Rachel Bueller, the defender, with only her second ever goal for the USA, and what a time to score it on her World Cup debut.
I am so optimistic for the future. We're going to have to rewrite the physiology textbooks. Vibrational medicine is the medicine of the future.
Don't try turning tables instead. You've taken lots of chances before.
Thoroughbred racing for 35 years now. And what I've learned, just like the human population, racehorses break down, but they're more vulnerable than humans. I really know what it's like for the human body to break down. But you multiply that times 10, and that occurs to a horse. And the equine is very vulnerable. And what I've learned about the equine population is basically that we can treat equines just like humans. We can put them on nutraceutical support. We can give them electroceutical support. So I'm actually using the MyoPulse in treating thoroughbred racehorses, especially with joint and ligament and soft tissue injuries.
I'm Tyler Suzanne. I'm a Thorp certified electro, Accuscope, and MyoPulse technician and trainer. I have been around racehorses my whole life. I was born into the industry. My dad is a very well-known trainer here in Southern California, and we're here at Hollywood Park Racetrack right now. I've had a lot of success with these 2 instruments, the Accuscope and MyoPulse. We've treated numerous different problems, anywhere from inflammation in the tendon, suspensory, knee, any kind of inflammation or edema we have been able to take away. I've treated numerous different types of strained muscles, pinched nerves, any kind of back soreness, foot soreness, and I've had nothing but success. And I believe that it all is credited to the training and the protocols that I've learned through working with John Thorp. Just to give you an idea of the success we've had with this machine, in the last 2 months we have generated close to $500,000 in winnings. We've been fortunate enough to work with a grade 2 winner, I'll have another, with the machine at 43 to 1.
They come for home, and I'll have another kicks away. I'll have another opening up to lead by 3. And as I'll have another coming home to win it easy. I'll have another, and Mario Gutierrez win it by almost 3.
I was fortunate enough to be able to work on I'll Have Another, as he is actually one of the top contenders now for the Kentucky Derby. I'm using the Thorp certified AccuScope and MyoPulse techniques on him. We were able to get him in the best condition he could and feeling as good as he can going into the race, and hopefully we'll be able to see him in the Kentucky Derby this year.
Also, we worked with another Grade 2 winner, Bobble Queen.
At the top of the lane, and Turning Top's shooting away from them now. Turning Top shoots clear to lead it by 2.5 lengths. Bobble Queen on the outside coming fast. City to City's in the outside. Bobble Queen, flying Bobble Queen. The official result, the winner number 1, Bobble Queen. Second number 4, Turning Top. Photo finish for 3rd.
Starter allowance winner, Ultimate Decision.
Ultimate Decision clear by 5. El Tango Ray is back in 2nd, but this is a 1-horse race, and that 1 horse is Ultimate Decision. Could go around again. He hasn't even broken a sweat today.
Bathalia, who came out to win a maiden allowance race.
3 wide, Batala. These 3 right across the racetrack. Here in Batala comes to the mid-stretch point and leads by 2. Flux and Twitch chase her home. Then Candy and Thunder, but it's Batala clear to the wire, and Batala's got it. Twitch 2nd, Batala in front.
And also Farley Star, who won very impressively in a claiming race.
Farley Star still galloping at the back of the pack. She seems comfortable, though, for Bejarano. Farley Star 6th and last, and now 7 lengths behind. But Farley Star is extending, and here's Farley Star from last to first to win.
What I've learned from watching different people use these machines and using them myself, the instrument is only as good as the person that stands behind it. I've been trained by John Thorp, and I feel very confident with everything that I've learned to be able to go up to top trainers, or actually anybody who has horses or owns horses, and be able to make a difference in their horse. A lot of people think it's all about the calibration. But if you're using Thorp's calibrated instrument and learning different protocols, and I've found out that after talking to different people and asking different people who have the machines questions, that nobody knows this machine as much as John, who has been around and was the first to treat horses and has been doing it for 26 years. If you want to be consistently in the winner's circle, be a part of our team and join Thorp's certified program.